Out of all the unforgettable faces we've come to know in the Yellowstone universe through the blood, dust, and raw emotion, there are two underdogs who've quietly earned a special place in our hearts, Jimmy and Teeter. They weren't born into power, they didn't have it easy, and they weren't always taken seriously. But that's exactly what makes their stories so powerful. They've stumbled, they've struggled, and somehow, they've always found a way to rise again. Their journeys might not have been the flashiest, but they've been some of the most genuine, emotional, and deeply human. Jimmy, the troubled soul who found purpose in hard work. Teeter, the unfiltered fighter who proved she was every bit as tough and often tougher than the men around her. These aren't just characters. They're mirrors of resilience, of what it means to fight for identity, belonging, and growth in a world that rarely gives second chances. And now, everything's about to change. With the 4-6's spin-off finally on the horizon, Jimmy and Teeter are stepping into uncharted territory, and not just geographically. For the first time, they're not background players. They're front and center, ready to carry a story that's bound to expand and reshape the Yellowstone universe as we know it. We're talking about a new setting, new rules, and an entirely new stage for two of the most unexpectedly beloved characters in the franchise. This isn't just a continuation, it's a rebirth. A bold new chapter where the stakes are higher, the challenge is tougher, and the personal growth even more intense. If you thought you knew Jimmy and Teeter, trust me, you've only scratched the surface. So buckle up. Let's dive into what's coming next for these two trailblazers, why their stories matter more than ever, and how the 4-6s could become the most game-changing series in the Yellowstone legacy. When I was working on this video, I found myself thinking a lot about Jimmy, where he started, where he's been, and where he's headed. It hit me just how powerful his journey has been, not just as a cowboy, but as a human being trying to find his place in a brutal, unforgiving world. I mean, who could forget the moment he first arrived at the Yellowstone Ranch? He was completely lost, battered by life, caught up in bad choices, and lacking any real sense of direction. He wasn't just inexperienced, he was broken, insecure, and full of doubt. Honestly, it felt like he was seconds away from giving up on himself. But that's exactly what made watching him so powerful. Jimmy's growth wasn't easy, and it sure wasn't pretty, but it was real. He got knocked down again and again. But every time, he got back up with a little more strength, a little more grit. And slowly, painfully, he became something nobody expected, a man of honor. A man who earned his place with sweat, scars, and stubborn determination. Not through shortcuts, but through showing up day after day, willing to be humbled, willing to learn, and willing to change. Over time, Jimmy turned into a capable cowboy, yes, but more importantly, he became someone who understands what loyalty really means. He's no longer the awkward outsider hoping to survive. He's a man who's proven he belongs not just on the ranch, but in this world. And now he's about to face the biggest challenge of his life. With the 4-6's spin-off coming, Jimmy is stepping into a role that will define his future. We're talking about one of the most iconic historic ranches in America, where tradition runs deep and only the best of the best survive. Jimmy's not just heading to Texas, he's entering a whole new arena, where everything he's learned will be put to the test. Let's be honest, this isn't just a change of scenery. This is a transformation into leadership. Jimmy will have to earn every bit of respect he gets, and nothing will be handed to him. The cowboys at 4-6s don't mess around. They're sharp, seasoned, and they don't care who you were, only who you are now. And that's why I'm excited. Because if there's one thing Yellowstone taught us, it's that Jimmy doesn't back down. He may not be the loudest or the boldest, but he's got something even more important: heart. The kind of heart that's earned, not given. The kind of heart that makes legends. So, what do you think? Has Jimmy truly earned his spot at the 4-6s? Is he ready to step up, take the reins, and carve out a new identity far away from the shadow of the Dutton ranch. Because ready or not, the next chapter of his story is already in motion. And if what we've seen so far is any indication, it's going to be raw, emotional, and downright unforgettable. Now I know opinions on Jimmy have been mixed over the years. Some fans doubted him, called him reckless, or even frustrating at times, and honestly, I get it. But the truth is, growth doesn't happen in a straight line. It's messy, it's painful, and Jimmy's journey has never tried to sugarcoat that. That's what makes his arc so powerful. We've watched him crash, burn, and rise again with nothing but sheer willpower and heart. And to me, that does make him worthy not just of the 4 sixes, but of leading his own legacy. Let me know if you disagree in the comments. I welcome it. But I'll say this, Jimmy is no longer that lost, awkward kid who couldn't stay on a horse or follow orders to save his life. He's got scars now. He's got grit. And more importantly, he's got a sense of direction. He knows who he is. And that inner compass, that's going to be his greatest weapon at the 4 sixes. And then there's Emily, a part of Jimmy's evolution that we absolutely can't ignore. Their relationship isn't just a love story. It's a symbol of who Jimmy is becoming. Amidst all the chaos, violence, and uncertainty of ranch life, he found someone who sees him not just for who he was, but for who he could be. That kind of connection doesn't just happen. It's earned. But let's be real for a moment. Watching Jimmy torn between Maya and Emily was rough. It was emotional, it was messy, and at times it was downright heartbreaking. Both women were caught in a tug-of-war between Jimmy's past and his future. Maya held on to the boy she once knew, while Emily believed in the man he was growing into. It was frustrating to watch because it felt too real. How many of us have been there, pulled between comfort and growth, fear, and hope? Thankfully, the writers knew when to bring that chapter to a close. When Jimmy finally chose Emily, it wasn't just a romantic choice, it was a declaration. A moment that screamed, "I know who I am now, and I'm ready to move forward." That kind of emotional clarity is rare, especially in a world like Yellowstone, where vulnerability is often seen as weakness. Jimmy choosing Emily was him choosing growth, and it told us that he's not afraid to fight for the life he wants anymore. That mindset? That's exactly what it'll take to thrive at the 4 sixes. Because let's be honest, this ranch is a beast of its own. The rules are different, the pressure is higher, and the expectations through the roof. Jimmy won't just be learning new skills, he'll be tested on every level, physically, emotionally, and mentally. But the beauty of it is, he's not alone. Emily is right there beside him, not just cheering him on, but grounding him, reminding him of who he is when the weight of everything starts to press down. She's more than just his love interest. She's his anchor, his compass, the person who will keep him steady when the storms hit, and in a world as unpredictable as the 4 sixes, that kind of bond might just be the key to his survival. So, as we look ahead, ask yourself this. Are you ready to watch Jimmy rise, not as a side character, but as a man finally stepping into his own story? Because I am. And I have a feeling it's going to be one hell of a ride. Now let's be real, Jimmy is great. But if we're being totally honest, a huge reason many of us are counting down the days until the 4 sixes spin-off is because of Teeter. Teeter has been a force since day one. She's the kind of character who walks into a scene and instantly changes the energy. There's no filter, no fluff, just raw strength, fierce loyalty, and a don't mess with me attitude that commands respect. I've always admired how unapologetically herself she is. She's bold, gritty, and full of heart, and let's not forget, she held her own in a world dominated by tough men, proving time and again that she was just as capable, if not more so. Losing Colby left a noticeable void in her story, And I'll admit, I wasn't sure how they were going to keep her narrative alive without him. But her decision to head to Texas and join the Four Sixes, that was a powerful move. It showed she's not stuck in the past. She's ready for a new chapter, one where she defines her future on her own terms. And what gets me genuinely fired up about Teeter's presence at the Four Sixes is the absolute storm of energy she's bringing with her, the kind that's going to flip the entire dynamic on its head. The Four Sixes isn't just any ranch. It's a legendary institution, a place where order, precision, and tradition rule every square inch. It's the kind of place where every cowboy knows their place in the hierarchy. But then Teeter walks in, loud, proud, zero filter, and absolutely unbothered by anyone who underestimates her. That's what makes her so electrifying. She's chaos wrapped in authenticity, and she doesn't just shake the system, she challenges it. She's going to make people uncomfortable. She'll ruffle feathers, challenge outdated mindsets, and force those around her to confront the kind of cowboy culture that desperately needs a fresh perspective. But that disruption, that's not a weakness, it's her superpower. Teeter's the kind of character who forces growth, who drags people out of their comfort zones, whether they like it or not. And at a place like the Four Sixes, where everything's been done a certain way for decades, she's exactly what they didn't know they needed. And let's not forget the emotional heartbeat she brings through her bond with Jimmy. Their relationship is one of the most underrated gems in the entire Yellowstone universe. It's not romantic. It's not dramatic. It's real. The kind of ride or die loyalty you can't fake. From late night, barn talks to fights that almost ended in fists, to those quiet moments where they just got each other without saying a word, Jimmy and Teeter are like siblings who've been forged through fire. They bicker, they tease, they drive each other crazy, but when it counts, they stand shoulder to shoulder, no questions asked. And that bond? That's going to be one of the emotional anchors of the Four Sixes spinoff. Because while everything around them might be new and intimidating, they're each other's constant. They've seen each other at their worst. They've helped each other rise. And now, in this new frontier, they're going to rely on each other more than ever. But let's not pretend the transition will be easy. This is the Four Sixes, the big leagues. The cowboys here are elite. The expectations are sky high, and they don't care where you came from, even if you carry the Yellowstone name. Respect here is earned, not given. Jimmy and Teeter are stepping into a world that doesn't owe them anything, and frankly, might not even want them there. That means early mornings, grueling days, mistakes that could cost them more than just pride. It's going to be physically brutal and emotionally draining. Every win will be hard fought. Every setback will sting. But if there's one thing we know about Jimmy and Teeter, it's that they don't quit. They don't back down. They've already weathered storms that would break most people, and this time, they've got each other. What excites me most is that they're not just here to survive. They're here to redefine what strength and resilience look like at the Four Sixes. They're not coming in quietly. They're bringing heart, history, and a whole lot of hell, yeah, attitude with them. And if Texas isn't ready for it, well, too bad. Because whether the cowboys like it or not, change is coming, and it's wearing a Yellowstone brand. To me, what makes this next chapter so thrilling is that it's not just a continuation, it's a bold expansion of the Yellowstone legacy. The shift to the Four Sixes Ranch feels like we're stepping into uncharted territory, but with characters we've grown to love and trust. And the fact that Taylor Sheridan owns the ranch in real life? That's not just a fun fact, it's a promise. A promise that what we're about to see will be rooted in authenticity, tradition, and a deep respect for the cowboy way of life. Yellowstone has always been more than just a TV show. It's a reflection of legacy, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond between people and the land they fight to protect. It's about grit, sacrifice, and the kind of honor that doesn't always shout, but always shows up when it counts. And now, with 4/6s on the horizon, that timeless spirit is about to unfold in a brand new way. Bigger landscapes, deeper stories, higher stakes. It's not just a continuation, it's a bold expansion of a world we've come to love. This isn't just a new chapter, it's a whole new book. And if the storytelling remains as raw and real as we've come to expect from Taylor Sheridan, then 4/6s won't just entertain us. It'll challenge us, move us, and maybe even change the way we see resilience, family, and purpose. The series is expected to drop in November 2025, and you better believe I'll be right there with you, episode after episode, unpacking every twist, every triumph, and every tear. If you're just as hyped as I am, and you want the inside scoop weekly updates, character deep dives, behind-the-scenes reveals, and all the latest news across the Yellowstone universe, then go ahead and follow, and share this video. It helps more than you know. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Whether you've been riding with me since the beginning or this is your first time here, your support means everything. Every view, every comment, every conversation we have here fuels this journey, and I'm so grateful to be sharing this with a community that cares just as deeply as I do. There's so much more ahead, and I can't wait to keep exploring this incredible universe with you. And hey, if you're still in the zone, the video on your screen right now is one you don't want to miss. Trust me, it's got all the Yellowstone energy you're craving. I'll see you there.